area. Area in math is defined as the space occupied by a flat shape or a two-dimensional shape. So you're only using two units, length and width, height and width, etc., to describe these shapes. So I want you to pause the video and take a second to copy down the area equations for these shapes up here. So the capital A equations to find the area of your triangle, rectangle, trapezoid, parallelogram, and circle. Now that you have those copied down, let's work out a few problems together. So I have find the area of a cube with a side length of 4 centimeters. So if the side length is 4, if we're talking about a circle, or a cube, sorry, we know that a cube, all 4 sides are identical. So if this is 4, then that's 4 as well. The equation is just side squared, so when I solve this, I'm going to do 4 times 4, so that's going to give me 16. My unit I was talking about was centimeters, and my unit is going to be squared because you're doing centimeters times centimeters. You're doing that same unit multiplied twice, so that's why your exponent is a 2. If I look at example 2, it says find the area of a rectangle with a length of 8 meters and a width of 4. So my length is 8. Usually the length is the longer side, so L and L, and my width is 4. So again, the equation is just length times width. So when I set this up, I'm going to do 8 times 4, which is going to give me 32. If I was talking about meters, my meters are squared because it would be 8 meters times 4 meters. So you have 2 meters that are being multiplied together. If I look at example 3, it says find the area of a triangle with a base length of 3 inches. So this whole length is going to be 3 inches, and it has a height of 5. So usually when they do the height, they give you a little dashed line from the tip of your triangle down to the base. There's also a little right angle because it has to be a vertical line in order to determine your true height. So the equation for the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height, which is the same thing as saying base times height divided by 2. This is the equation that I prefer to use. So I'm going to multiply my base of 3 times my height of 5, and then I'm going to divide that by 2. So I now have 15 divided by 2, which is going to give me 7.5. Again, my unit is inches, and it's going to be squared because I'm talking about my area. For example 4, you can see here that we have a trapezoid. So we have a set of parallel lines, not of equal length, connected by 2 diagonal sides. So to find the area of a trapezoid with a base length of 2 millimeters and 6 millimeters, so bases are 2 millimeters, those are your parallel lines, and 6 millimeters. So they're the parallel lines that are not of equal length with a height of 4. So as you can see again, we have this dashed line, it forms a right angle, and this has a value of 4 millimeters. This equation is a little trickier, so the way that we solve this is a plus b, so the sum of your 2 bases. You're then going to divide that by 2, and then multiply the whole thing by your height. So again, we can write this as a plus b times my height, and then divide it by 2. Either of those are correct. So when I add my bases together, 2 plus 6 times my height of 4 divided by 2. So 2 plus 6 is going to give me 8 times 4 gives me 32, and then I have to divide it by 2, which is going to give me 16. And since I was talking about millimeters, since I'm finding area, it's going to be millimeters squared. 2 more. If we look at a circle, so it says a pie has a diameter of 12 inches, find the area of the top circle of the pie, so that pie crust part that you put on top. So the diameter is the full length of the circle, so this is 12 inches. the equation for the area of a pie is pi radius squared. So if I have my diameter, if my diameter is equal to 12, I know that my radius is half of that, so 12 divided by 2 is going to give me 6. So I'm going to plug in 6 for my r, not 12. I'm going to use 3.14 for pi, so I have 3.14 times 6 squared. So I get 3.14 times 36. When I multiply those two together, I get 113.04. Since I'm talking about inches, it's going to be inches squared. For example 6, it says a garden has a path built around it. Refer to the image to find the area of the path. So all I want to know is the area of this shaded in piece around my garden. So the first thing you need to see is that I have the two rectangles inside of each other. If I have this big rectangle, that encloses the garden as well. So if I find the area of the whole space first, I can then find the area of my garden and take it out or remove it. So I'm first going to find the area of the whole, so I'm going to put area of whole. So length of 42 times my width of 30. This is going to give me 1,260. Again, feet squared. So that is this whole big chunk, including my garden. Now, if I find just the area of my garden, I would have 34 times 26, which is going to give me 884. Again, my unit is feet squared. So this inside piece, my garden, is that 884. If all I want to find is the area of the shaded piece around the edge, I can take my total and remove the garden's area. So my total value was 1,260. I'm going to take out 884. So I'm going to be left with 376. Again, your unit is still feet squared. So the area, the total amount of space that this two-dimensional walkway takes up, is going to be 376 square feet.